Evening everybody, it's Phil here from Telford Koi Pond on a very sunny, warm, enjoyable Monday evening. Sitting here drinking a nice cup of tea from my Eco Koi System mug, thank you very much for that, putting it to good use. Just sitting here surveying the landscape as it were, just seeing what fantastic progress we've made on the pond over the last couple of weeks. I put out a series of short videos just to show the progress, filling the hole for the filter bay, putting the concrete in, and then it sort of stopped. We've done loads since then. When I say we, that's the royal we. Those of you that have followed my journey will know just how dire the situation got at times. We had such awful weather before, and over Christmas 6 foot of mud, it was just unbelievable, you know, to the point where I was seriously questioning giving it up. Let it lie for a couple of months, didn't do anything with it. Started making contacts again, realised I needed, you know, professional builders on board to help me work this out. Found a team of absolutely superb local builders. They came on board, they saw how passionate I was about this pond, and they sort of put that passion into everything they've built. So as I say, I'll walk you around afterwards. But just to start off, what I'm going to do is just show you a series of photos now, just to show you the before and the after, before we actually go and do a walk around. So I'll leave it there and I'll come back to you in a bit. Hopefully those photos show you, you know, just how bad it was and how good it was. But even the good photos can't actually, you know, I can't emphasise enough how brilliant this is that I'm going to just show you around. So let's go and have a look. That's everything in its entirety. So the little Blagdon pond at the front is what started it all off. That isn't obviously part of the build, as it were. We've just had a big tidy up, but that's what started it all off, and then really sort of sparked my love for koi keeping. But the pond itself, the Blockwork structure, was has been there for a while, as you know. But what was there was a huge gaping hole where the filter bay should have been, and now there's a fantastic, perfect, accurately put together filter. Not only that, the builders that are on board knocked up this fantastic pergola in one day, not from a kit, but from, you know, they just bought lumber and built it up. Primarily it's obviously decorational once all the work's done, but it's given me a fantastic place to put cover over for when the fibreglasser comes. So we've got the fibreglasser on board in a couple of weeks time, so it's all systems go. So let me walk you around each individual part so you can see again just how far we've come. So here we are in the pond. Again, those of you that have been following the journey will have realised that the big problem we had in the pond is we had a crack from the bottom drain all the way through to where the bottom drain outputs into the filter chamber, and that was because when we did the original pour, the bottom the tube, the 4-inch drain tube, wasn't held down properly. So as the concrete was poured, basically it floated up and it ended up about ½ an inch below the concrete. Nightmare scenario. So what we did to overcome that was I put a flanged pressure collar onto the top of the bottom drain. So that's welded. It's glued, screwed to within an inch of its life, sealed. Not that it really makes any difference because it's encased in concrete, but that now is absolutely, you know, it's perfect really. The concrete is absolutely level, so we had a problem the first time round. Again, there was a definite sort of lean towards the bottom end because the rain kept collecting down the bottom. So obviously this is 4.5 inches higher than it should be, so the way we get around that, once it's all fibreglassed, is quite simply to extend the centre stalk, the 1.5 inch tube, by 4.5 inches, and then the bottom drain will work exactly how it's supposed to work. Thank you for my son for donating his basketball, because it's the only ball that would fit. Ooh. You'll see that the inlets are in the pond now. There's one that end which is going to, that's where the heater is going to come from. So I've decided on a Thermotech heater. I've actually placed the order today, so that's where that's going to come back into the pond mid-water. And then at the other end I've got a return through Venturi. I've got a second return that I can split off the Venturi, have them both running as Venturis, or one on, one off, or just both without Venturis. And then I've got a pipe running back into the pond there, where again I can even pump water out from, but I'm going to have a gravity in pond skimmer. So don't like skimmers in the wall, never have done. So I decided on that version that I can obviously run that independently off a pump. So a lot of drilling to do. Those of you that have done pond building, you'll realise that drilling through a 7.3 Newton block laid on end is just, it's a nightmare. So I was going to do it myself. I was going to go to the highest shop. They are so expensive. But my builder, as well as doing everything else for me, he said, mate, no problem. He came back 2 nights after work and he drilled all 4 holes for me. So again, fantastic job there. So this is it. It's all sort of, you know, it's level, it's ready, returns are in. For my fiberglass, I took on board what you said, made sure these can go right back into the wall with a recess, so there's these go on top of it, or push back into the insulation. So that's it, that's the inside of the pond. So I'll jump out the pond now and I'll show you in the filter bay. So welcome to the filter bay. Again, in the pictures you'll just see a massive hole there, full of mud. It was horrendous. So all that's been backfilled. Again, from the pictures you will have seen the blockwork support that the builders built over the pipework, because I was worried about all the weight on the pipework because of how we'd had to configure it. 8-inch reinforced slab. Yes, the wooden forms are still on the outside. I'm just leaving them there for as long as possible. And if there's any carpenters out there watching this, then although I think it's fantastic because I did it, I will apologise for the gate, but it's functional and it will look good once it's all sorted. So, gate into the filter house opens right out the way. Reason for that is I've had to leave that gap there for obviously bringing the filter in, so that will come in, turn straight, we get it in there, and in we go. So, our Aussie Profit Clear premium drum filter, it will fit sort of here, and I've also had the individual unit which will take it a lot further out here. So the pipes, the 4-inch main drain and the air that come out of the bottom drain are there. We've got an inspection chamber to waste, which obviously the drum and everything I'm emptying out into waste will empty into that, and that runs to the main storm drain. And then obviously you can see the other side of the pond here. Got the blockwork, got the returns in here ready to be plumbed into the filter when we get it in. So the pipe will come out the end of the filter. It'll come along this back wall and back round. One pipe will go down there to the heater, which will then return at the other end of the pond. One will do we'll have a T on here going into there through the Venturi, and that will just arc back and put me another return in without any air in. Or as I say, I might do that as a separate return, just pulled out the skimmer, and that pipe down there is for the skimmer. So this is where we are. Happy days. And then on top of that we've got the pergola. So as I say, same builders came back, worked their magic. Oh dear, I've just spotted a piece where my wife's missed. My wife's done a sterling job painting. But sorry love, you missed a bit there. So we've yeah, the reason why I'm putting this out on a Monday night, it was planned to go out on Sunday night, is because literally me and my better half spent from dawn till dusk on Saturday and Sunday painting, clearing up, skipping, concreting, putting the pipes in, painting all the pergola, and by the time we came to do anything yesterday we were absolutely shattered. So this is where we are with the pond build at the minute. Being honest, I am absolutely chuffed with it. I couldn't be much happier, to be honest with you. So the next steps are not a lot really happening this week. We're just consolidating. As I say, we've been doing a bit more skipping tonight, and by skipping I mean putting stuff into a skip, not skipping with a skipping rope. Bit of a relaxing week this weekend. I'll obviously just have a play with my bits and pieces and my fittings in the garage ready for it. And then next week, one day we've got the electricians coming, so they're running armour cable around the side of the house, all around the back of the pond, and that will come in through that wall there into the filter bay. And then also we've got the fibreglassing coming, so that's 2 days work. So he'll be fibreglassing this, insulating it with 25mm Kingspan, and then once that's done, builders will then come back and they'll put the coping on the top for us, and then we start putting the water in and getting everything working, which is the day I'm really looking forward to. And then after that we need to see about getting the garden sorted, because I've destroyed it. So that's where we are. Just one thing I will mention, just to stop lots and lots of questions, because I do keep getting lots and lots of questions and comments on it, and while I encourage them, you'll notice that I haven't got a window in the pond, and that is obviously a personal choice. I don't want a window in the pond. I thought about it long and hard. When I first designed the pond, I put a window in the pond, but to be honest with you, out of I don't know, half a dozen people I know, friends that keep koi, 2 of them would have some pretty serious problems with them. One of them is just can't fix a leak. It's leaked since the build. He's had the window out, put it back in, and it's still leaking. And one of them had his window crack on him. Now that's probably a manufacturing problem with the glass and nothing to do with the build. But I, call me a purist, call me old-fashioned. I like this here the way it is. Plus, when we get the garden done, we're actually going to have raised decking to the side of the pond, so it will only be a couple of foot above the water anyway. So that's where we are. To everybody that's been watching this, thank you for coming along the journey with me. It really is appreciated. We're nearly there. I can't wait to do the video where we're hooking all the filter up and everything, and then obviously the even better one when we put the fish in. So thank you very much for subscribing. Those of you that haven't, please do. It will be very much appreciated. And then any comments, any thoughts, any suggestions, please feel free to write and let me know. So I'm going to leave it there for tonight. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and I'll speak to you next time. Cheers.